Live from New York, from the biggest show in legal technology, this is your friendly neighborhood TECHNOCAT, and I am here for TECHNOCAT Live with the coolest, baddest legal tech news editor I have ever met, and an inaugural legal techer.
This is
Legal
my
Weeker.
first.
I mean, I'm so old, I've gone to 17 of these. It used to be called Legal Tech.
Yes,
So,
a lot of people have been telling me that, yes.
So Stephanie Wilkins,
Yes.
thank you. So it's your first show.
It is.
You kind of came in a baller way, you know, that whole introducing and emceeing the Innovation Awards on the stage, interviewing Dan Schulman on my stage, which I'm sure is your highlight, and everywhere in between. How has it been?
I mean, it's actually been fantastic, you know, a little bit trial by fire, but in a good way. I came in not knowing what to expect, and it honestly went by so quickly that I haven't even, in a good way, that I haven't even had a chance to really process it. And, you know, being put on the awards, like you said, being put on the keynote with Dan Schulman, like you said, it was sort of I'm like, is it an option? Of course, I'm sure it's my job. I'll do it, but I'm actually really glad I did, and I had a lot of fun with it. And especially now having the first one under my belt in the future, I'm very excited to do more. It's been great.
Well, I have to say, this is a new role for you,
Yep.
a little under a year. But
6 months only.
You have injected so much energy and dynamicness, not in just terms of your personality. Obviously, you and I are cut from the same cloth, a little sparkly, a little, you know, a little shimmery, but also just, I mean, the speed with which you're publishing. You and I have been texting at 3 p.m. I say, hey, I have a story. By 5 p.m., I get it to you. You edit it. It's live that day. That speed and the ability you have to get everyone interested in talking about emerging stuff is such a breath of fresh air.
Well, thank you. It's always good to hear. I mean, it is only 6 months in, so feedback, especially positive feedback, but, you know, negative too. It's good. Feedback's good.
Only positive. So how are you liking it? I mean, obviously Legal Week is huge and everything, but how are you settling in? How is everything? Because legal tech news is like, it's my Bible when it comes to knowing what's going on, and it's been better than it ever has been.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Been settling in great. It's been fantastic. I do have to say, I mean, everyone at ALM has been so supportive. And, you know, Gina Pasquarella, who I report to, like, from day one, they just sort of let me run with whatever I wanted. I mean, obviously keep doing what we've been doing well, but just an unprecedented amount of trust. And, you know, I come from law firm world where I'm not used to necessarily having trust or nice bosses or anything like that. So it's been so refreshing to me. And so I really jumped in from day one.
Don't look at her LinkedIn profile and know which firms it is.
No?
At all, for sure.
I've worked at more than one firm. You can't know. There's people everywhere, but no, it's just been fantastic, and I really just have jumped in, and it couldn't have been better timing, the serendipity with the AI stuff coming out, which I am obsessed about. We've talked about this, you know, like
we were all in on AI before the rest of the world caught up to it.
Yeah.
And the fact that we can write about it in almost every article and folks are paying attention is very cool.
Well, and I think that's a big part of what you said about the publishing speed, and part of it is just because I'm so into my job, partly because it's new, it'll wear off a little bit because I bet it was so supercharged. I'm writing these because I love it.
You're always going to get my stuff out fast.
Well, right,
I know. Because fangirls.
Yeah, but even my own articles I'm writing, I'll stay up late writing them, even though no one expects me to do that in my job. But I'm just so into it. That's part of the speed.
Well, I think it's also my inner ADHD, I guess, is like, if I'm bored, it will take me a week to write it. If I'm all into it, I blink and I'm like, I have not moved in 5 hours. It's completed. Let's do this.
I know. I totally feel you on that.
I'm so excited for you. I feel like you were the right person to shepherd the legal tech community into this new and kind of scary, dynamic moment. And it doesn't have to be scary, which I've written a lot about, but fear, uncertainty, and doubt, the only solution for that is knowledge. And you're pumping it out there in a great way.
Right. And we're trying to cover it as well as we can. And a big part of that was us diving in and learning the tech ourselves as much as we can. I mean, we're not technologists. We're still, you know, journalists, lawyers, what have you. But I feel like if you're going to be writing about it, you should understand what you're writing about. So you ask the right questions when a company, you know, releases a new product. We always like, what is the tech under it? We're not just gonna, because, you know, AI is very buzzy now. You get a lot of press releases, a lot of things. We're like, we have AI, just slapping the word AI on it. And we're really just like, do you really? What does that mean? What kind of technology are you using to sort of cut through that noise? Because I think it's important.
Is it email threading or is it generative AI? Because a little bit of difference between the two of them.
Yeah, but you wouldn't know that by sometimes what the people try to slap their label on it. So that's been critical to it also.
Well, and we've done some briefings with you, and it's really refreshing to have someone who's like, all right, I want to understand how this ties into this. Let me understand, is it a force multiplier through X, Y, or Z? Like having someone who understands enough makes the conversation more substantive.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm happy to be the one geeking out on the call with people. I just like, yeah, be nerdy with me. I'm with it. I found my people.
Our tribe is the dorks, and we're okay with it.
I know. I mean, our time has come.
I mean, we're the queens of the dorks.
Right.
And trademarked. Just saying. So on the show, I would have to imagine that one of your highlights, not of this 6 months, but of this week, is you literally just got off the stage with the CEO of PayPal, Benjamin and Schulman, sorry. And I was on here filming because that's what I do. TLDR it for me because I'm super curious what he had to say.
He's so knowledgeable about everything. And he ended up being the perfect guest for this conference because he's so knowledgeable on the business side, but he also PayPal straddles the banking and the tech world, which are both big now. And also, before I talked to him the first time, I wasn't even aware of how much he knew in the generative AI space. He's talking to all the people, the big players. He gets it. So he talked about that at fundamental levels that I didn't before I spoke to him. I knew I would ask an AI question.
I wouldn't have guessed that.
But like we could have done the whole panel just on that, which is it's my favorite topic. But no, and he's like, it's legal is prime for it. It's not, he's very clear. It's not just legal, it's all industries, but it's going to fundamentally disrupt everything. And legal definitely. And I think his quote was like, the old saying that, it's 1% perspiration, 99% inspiration. Yeah. And he was saying that we always assume that the AI would come for the 1% perspiration, but it's not. It's really coming at the inspiration.
Which
is
creative.
Unexpected. Yeah.
Well, having used ChatGPT, like one of the articles I did a portion of it, which I actually called out using ChatGPT, but the process is I use it to get my gears going to kind of understand a topic, which is much more that inspiration piece than the perspiration, which is not what I would have guessed. I would have thought it would be low-hanging fruit task automation, and that really does flip the script.
Well, and I think that it's critical that you said, you do it initially, and I've always looked at it as a great starting point because you do need humans looking over it, and that was a big thing he stressed also. He's currently working with the governments on the level of regulating and what regulation or what guardrails there need to be. And so even as the most powerful tools we have now, and as they get more powerful, that's going to even be more important. It's 100%. It's not the robot lawyer. It's not we get rid of everybody and it's exercising judgment.
The robo lawyer is not coming, but the lawyer in the Iron Man suit who's being augmented, amplified, and supercharged with tech, they're going to eat your lunch if you're playing ostrich and like staying with your
for sure. So. This is not a tech you can avoid. It's not like other technologies in the past that maybe served a very niche part of the industry, because AI is not a legal technology at all. It's a technology that's coming into all of legal, into all the products. And if you're not on board, your competitors will be. And I know that sounds like fear mongering, but it's just a reality. And there's going to be a period of discomfort. But you're going to have to work through it. And eventually, when you start seeing the results of it, if you're one of the holdouts, you're not going to have a choice, but you're also going to see the benefits of it.
Well, it's like the internet. You can't opt out of it. And was it hypey and buzzy and flashy and a little BS? Heck yeah. But was time right when they said the internet is dead? Not really. It became transformative and embedded. And I feel like that's what this sort of generative piece is going to be like. It's transformative. Maybe it's not going to be standalone. Maybe it's not going to be ChatGPT, but it's going to get embedded into so many things we do, and it's going to change how we do it.
Right.
That's pretty exciting.
I know. I'm very excited about it. You know this.
I know. Yes. Well, I think I probably will be texting you at some point next week. So, I had this idea.
Yes.
Do you like it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Give me an hour and a half.
Right. So we've texted about AI more than once.
Well, when you find someone that's as passionate about like the kind of the edge cases as you, and can actually talk in a logical and educated way, I'm like, can we geek out again?
Yes.
Can I fangirl about the AI?
I know, absolutely, always. Anyone out there, I'm your person to geek out with.
All right. Well, speaking of that, if someone wants to get in touch with you, I'm going to have your name hyperlinked in the description. Click on it. Follow Stephanie because you get your articles on there. She's got great thought leadership. And also follow Legal Tech News because the content, if a couple of years ago you were a little bored, check it out again because I have seen it re-energized in the last 6 months in a way I've never seen before. And probably 12% because I'm fangirling or contributing, but also just it's so much more timely. And
it is.
In this moment in time when everything's moving so quickly, you need that.
Right. And I would say it's bleeding across all of ALM because they realize, even though we're the one that focuses on the tech, it's touching, as we said, every part of legal. So there's no way around it. It's getting in everywhere. And while most of the articles might be on our site, and we've created a hub page which brings in the other ALM articles also. So because it really is, it's just spreading. It is, yeah.
Well, I think the interesting thing is when something gets a South Park episode,
Yes.
you know it's mainstream, right?
Yes.
And when it's mainstream, even if you are like, hey, I'm not using that, that doesn't mean that your mom, your grandpa, your brother going through a divorce, whoever isn't using it, which means your clients are using it, which means you need to be able to talk about it like a legal advisor.
Yeah. And there was a whole John Oliver episode on AI too, you know?
I haven't watched that. I need to watch it.
It's actually really well done. I was like, wow, he summarized this way faster and funnier than I could do. It's impressive.
Well, he has a whole staff.
Right.
It's not just him.
Yeah.
So what else have you been excited about from the show? So we talked Dan Schulman. We talked about the Innovation Awards, which there were some great recipients. I got to actually give one to my favorite lady, Farrah Pepper.
Who I went to law school with. A lot of people don't know, and they're always shocked when we hear that. And I'm like, Farrah and I go way, way back.
I love that. I love that. We only go back like probably 17 years.
Yeah.
And she won't tell anyone. I knew she was winning, and so I was like, oh, I'm rooting for you. She came over afterwards, she's like, Kat, you stinker. And I'm like, I know. Well, so aside from that, though, have you been on the floor? What else has caught your eye? Because this feels like the most, you would know, but this feels like we've gone back to the future, to a pun intended, an older time, a more dynamic time for the show. How's it felt?
Well, and that's universally what people have been telling me. They've been stopping me and saying, this feels like the old legal week, if not more, because the pandemic, everything took a hit, right?
Yeah.
And I know registration numbers wise, it was bigger than even 2020. But the first
I heard
thing,
7,000.
Yeah,
which is crazy. That's bigger than it was 2020, 2019. Like it had kind of dipped a little bit. And so it's nice to see it going back up because this is so important at this moment in time as everything's changing.
Yes. And I feel like the number one thing people have stopped to me and said is like, it feels like a new breath of fresh air. There's so much energy here. So I love that that's my first legal week. I'm not even mad that I don't have the comparison to the past because just seeing the excitement. And I wish I had a whole day to wander all the exhibit halls. I have a little bit too. And honestly, to bring it back to the Dan Schulman, his whole thing was like blending profit and purpose in business. That was the whole theme of it. And so I was like,
chills. I love that.
Yeah. And I was like, well, I think that's perfect here because I've been seeing this like revitalization of energy, and it feels like people do have more of a sense of purpose. Like see my tie-in.
I like it.
But no, it was great, and he's very much about corporate responsibility and all of that too. But so it really is the sense of purpose, and I don't know if it's the AI. I don't know if it's the pandemic effect and people being excited because I know we were back together in person last year, but no one really knew how to be humans with other humans yet. It was just like coming out of our shells.
We were all like, I'm gonna hug you with my shoulder.
Can I like maybe even yeah. And now everyone's just so excited to be here. That excitement level is contagious, and it doesn't hurt that
too. Like for a long time, because I was on the circuit so much, I'm like I probably could have done all the panels. This time I was like, oh, I'm so sad I'm missing it. I don't know about that.
Yeah, I know, and I mean I've been so busy between taking meetings and being on panels and doing whatever that like I don't even think I've gone to a single panel that I wasn't on. And I kind of wish I had, but I mean I realize also like it's been I believe it or not, I used to hate public speaking in a prior life, I
was physically shoved on the stage by Mark Yakino for my first, who's my boss, for my first speaking engagement, which he loves to remind me. He's like, you were once shy, Kat.
Yeah.
I fixed that. I'm like, you're welcome.
I know. But I've actually found it super easy because I'm talking about things I really enjoy and things I know. So like I've been slotted into a lot of panels about, the future state of the industry or trends in it. And like, I didn't even I did prep, but I didn't even have to really prep that much because my part of it it inevitably turns to AI. It plays into every part of it. And sooner or later, it's going to bump to Stephanie.
And
What's going on with AI? And I was like, yes, I know it's me.
Well, it's funny because like, I feel like a lot of the panels were fly on the wall for, what we would have had a conversation about over a cocktail later in the afternoon. Like it feels very organic because we are all dorks that are talking about the stuff all the time.
Yes. Maybe that's why I like it. It's a conference full of dorks and I found my people finally.
I mean, it's our people.
Yeah.
And we're the queen of the dorks.
Yes. I'm in.
I'm trademarking that for sure.
Yes.
So I did warn you. This is a sprint and not a marathon. We are at the 1 yard line already. Shocker. And so it's time for my favorite question. What's your mic drop moment? So if someone is meeting Stephanie Wilkins for the first time, they may live under a rock or in a cave, who knows? But if they're meeting you for the first time, if they're listening to this conversation, if they're hearing about legal tech news, what's the one takeaway you want them to have in their head as they go out about their day and wrap up Legal Week?
I'm your AI person. Don't be afraid to ask me questions. I don't care if you're scared of it. I don't care if you're super nerdy and know about it. I'm the person that this is not a joke. I've had weeks where I've had dreams about AI.
We talked about it.
I know. I eat, breathe, sleep this stuff, literally. So I am very happy to be the voice of AI. And I feel like it went from initially, sort of screaming into the wind, or Casey
Into
Flaherty
the
said
void.
screaming into the void,
Yes.
to then being like, oh, Stephanie, of course she's going to talk about AI, ha ha ha. And now people are like, oh, wait, maybe she knew something. And I'm like, so bring it. I'm happy to be your leading AI dork.
All right, so you heard it here first. The queen of the AI dorks,
Yes.
the person to reach out to, her name is in the hyperlink, Legal Tech News as well. And if you wrote off Legal Week years ago, it's worth checking out again, because I have not been to a show like this in 17 years. It's been crazy good.
Yeah.
So,
and it went super fast in a really good way.
It did. I might have cut years off my life because I didn't sleep and I did so much, but it was worth it.
Right. That's what the weekend's for.
Well, I feel like that is the mic drop moment. Everything AI, and you know what? Live from New York at Legal Week, the biggest show in legal technology. This is your friendly neighborhood TECHNOCAT. Stephanie Wilkins, thank you for being awesome. The mic is dropped and we are out. Stay tuned.